Alrighty, everybody, welcome to Casual Sports Talk Podcast, college football preview playoffs edition. And now we got a gentleman right over here who's definitely hoping that the Buckeyes don't go right left, just like they did in the Big Ten championship. Here's Chris.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that Ohio State's number 2 in the playoffs currently. It's unfortunate we couldn't clinch the Big Ten championship. And I'm not sure what it's been since, I think, 2016 since we had it.
2020.
2020. All right, thank you, Stu, for the I appreciate that. But yeah, 27-yarder, your kicker who has been spot on the entire season, can't miss that. So I don't know if they wanted to keep the game under 4 hours or 3.5 hours, but they did it. So congratulations to the Indiana University Hoosiers. Good job to them.
Good job, Hoosiers. First time since 1967 you have won a Big Ten championship. That is crazy to think. And now we got a gentleman right over here who realized that they at least had a better Wednesday than Sherrone Moore. Here's Jeffrey and Douglas.
Well, at least the Buckeyes are keeping the storylines to on the field, whereas my team, Michigan, has been accused of cheating on the field and now also off the field.
Yep. Oh, my goodness, Douglas. You're probably like, man, it's a great week to be a Michigan fan, right?
You know, Stu, they say all publicity is something, but this doesn't feel good. it gets pretty tiring at some point just to not be able to focus on the product on the field, like Jeff mentioned. So,
in all fairness, I was listening to last week's podcast for the college football, what you guys did for the rivalry week. Emphasized Lane Kiffin and Ohio State being Michigan, but good Mr. Jeff over here. There was a question brought by Stu. Does Jeff feel comfortable, or would he want to, go forward with Mr. Moore being Big Blues head coach? And he said he didn't really want him to be their head coach going forward. So maybe that was a little,
Did you put a normal right there, Jeff?
There.
What was that?
Well, I mean, I think Jeff speaks for a lot of the fan base too. Is like we kind of knew Sherrone wasn't our guy. Like he was a stopgap guy. So like on the football side of things, honestly, they might be better next year than they would have been. But you still got to keep the players there. You can't let everybody transfer out, and hopefully keep Bryce Underwood and some of the key guys in the recruiting class, because they already lost a 4-star tight end out of Idaho. That was kind of a huge bummer.
Yeah, and I guess we got to probably talk about it. This is the craziest. I thought, craziest thing, Notre Dame not going to the Pop-Tart Bowl. But then Sherrone Moore said, hold my football. I will tell you the craziest thing. So, as of Wednesday, basically Sherrone Moore got fired from U of M for having an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. Shocking thing right over there. And as of right now in this recording, he is in the Washtenaw County Jail right now. Where yes. So I guess, Jeffrey, do you want to elaborate on this situation right now?
Yeah, so I think there's the on-field. So there's how it affects the football program, and then there's the off-the-field stuff. So from a strictly football perspective, I think if you're a Michigan fan, it's embarrassing. It hurts the brand. It's leading the headline news on like NBC News or something like that. So it just must be a slow news day, I guess. But I think the silver lining here is they will end up with a much better football coach leading the program going forward than what they had with Sherrone Moore. So I think that's the good thing. The thing is they got to move quickly. They're going to start to possibly lose players soon if you don't get someone in place soon. But you also got to make sure you get the right coach and the right fit, especially after all the trouble they had with the sign stealing stuff and now this. So, like I said, you're going to end up with a better coach. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to.
Well, and a good thing I was watching the Pat McAfee show, and something that they did note that changed this last year is now it's not – it used to be the transfer portal window opened right after you lost a coach. Now it's not until 5 days after a new coach is hired. So Michigan has a chance there if they get the new coach in and it's somebody that can get the players' trust to not, take a bunch of L's on this. So that's kind of a huge W for Michigan, but – the actual transfer portal opens up in early January, so it's like you still got about a month shot clock, and who knows if you'll even be able to field a team against Texas if nobody wants to play at this point with no coach. So
It is still the craziest thing. I mean, I know. Okay, it's funny. Me and Jeffrey know like the whole incident, and also Sherrone Moore getting in jail. It's like it's not that far where my location is. Who would have thought a national college football story would be near less than 30 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes from where I live? That would not be in my bingo card.
Well, so, like from an off-field perspective, I mean, this guy apparently there was some crazy stuff going on just in terms of he just wasn't focused on football. I mean, apparently, if you read anything on Twitter or on the internet, it's pretty apparent he was distracted for quite some time. And this just didn't start recently. Apparently, this is going back to 2024. And apparently, it was the worst kept secret.
Oh yeah, there was rumors that was like 2 months. I think in the Michigan-Ohio State game, there was rumors that like, oh yeah, he's having an affair.
Right, and apparently it was like the players would kind of like make fun of him or make fun of the relationship, kind of behind his back. So like everyone knew. Like the fact that they went 9-3 is actually a lot more impressive now. But now I see why they were such an undisciplined team, and now it all kind of makes sense. But like I said, the good thing is he kind of got the clown out of there. You kind of pivot to, who's your next coach? I've heard Kalen DeBoer. I've heard Jed Fish. I've heard Dillingham may want it. So
John Gruden?
John Gruden would be a lot of fun. So would Joe Brady from the Buffalo Bills. Like I would love to have him. Like he was the offensive coordinator for 2019 LSU when they had the record-setting year, and obviously we know what he's done in there in Buffalo with Josh Allen too. So like he would be an awesome hire, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. It's definitely an interesting one, but I figured I have a clip right over here from the local news about the whole incident where Sherrone Moore was going to get arrested right over here. I figured I wanted to show you a 2-minute clip right over here about what has happened in this situation right here.
Down just 24 hours ago, we just got our hands on that 911 dispatch audio that started we'll say around 4 o'clock. Take a listen.
Subject just called the caller, told her there's a male at the location and now it's attacking her. The state's been stalking her for months.
That's just part of dispatch audio relaying a 911 call.
Man, I even know what this story is. This is the crazy part.
She's on the phone with that's when grabs a knife, threatened the caller, and then ran through the knife down.
The audio from around 4 o'clock Wednesday afternoon, and not even an hour later, former Michigan football coach Sherrone Moore fired. The university sending out a statement saying he'd been fired due to an inappropriate relationship with a staff member.
He calls S1's wife and Ann Arbor saying that the subject is suicidal for losing his job today.
A source tells NBC Sports Thursday the university had allegedly been alerted prior to Wednesday that Moore had been dealing with, quote, mental health issues. But athletic director Ward Manuel allegedly fired Moore, quote, alone with no HR rep and no security present. Moore still in protective custody at the Washtenaw County Jail. Pittsfield Township Police investigating the alleged assault. No charges officially filed.
Sherrone Moore, man. He was given a job that he probably would otherwise not have gotten. As Jim Harbaugh's assistant, Jim Harbaugh and Ward Manuel, the athletic director, believed that he was the guy for the job. But it's a lucky break from a huge break. And here he has squandered all of it. Absolutely all of it.
Local 4 catching up with attorney Joseph Simon, who we believe may be representing the former coach. He only says,
I'm not even confirming I'm representing him. I don't have any comment for you, okay?
Not good.
Really active situation. The prosecutor's office says while this is a very active investigation, they still
the reporter here, the blonde lady, almost looks like
not officially
Moore's
mistress. Is expected to be arraigned.
Definitely every blonde.
I assume you guys have seen pictures of of her. Yeah, her first name is Paige. We don't have to include her last name because that's not important. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, it's out there, and it's even crazier because apparently he.
Right. Last joke, he said that he was suicidal. I didn't think things would get that intense when you lose to Ohio State. Last joke. All right, guys. Yeah, but back to
okay. Terrible joke, but I get.
Yeah, my friends texting me. They're like, "Hey Jeff, we hear there's a nice girl named Paige that's newly single in Ann Arbor. You should try to
Hey, I mean, she's single. I mean, she might have like a kid on the way, but still, she's making good money.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe not
she's
anymore.
emotionally
Stu.
available right now, gentlemen. I think she's going through some some things in the head with what's going on. So say give it a few months.
Yeah, I still gotta say
it's a bad situation. You know, there's been other colleges that have gone through similar situations. Ohio State, Michigan State, you know, Big Ten. I'm sure there's other schools out there, but man, that's yeah, like Doug said, you know, this guy was just a placeholder. You know, after was it Harbaugh left or whatever? So there's better.
Harbaugh,
like Jeff mentioned, there's a better coach that's gonna come up on the horizon. Hopefully, Bryce Underwood stays with the University of Michigan, doesn't transfer to LSU. Like there's been rumors out there that he might. So hopefully, Michigan can bounce back after this and be a strong. You know, hopefully they don't. You know, 9-3 this season, like you guys mentioned. Hopefully they bounce back again for next year and be a strong contender for the Big Ten, absolutely, and the CFP as well.
Well, I mean, to kind of piggyback off something Jeff said earlier, too, I mean, like Bryce Underwood, #1 player in the country, super excited, and like he did not progress like he should have this year. Like he should have been like by the Ohio State game, like he was missing like wide open windows. It's like, bro, like you need to be making that read at this point in the year. Like you're not a freshman anymore. And like he just like kept checking it down, dumping it off. And it's like, I don't know, the whole system is just so, I don't know. They just don't push the ball downfield, and the whole fan base, I think, is over it anyways, kind of.
Yeah, Jeff said perfectly on last podcast as I was listening to it. Yeah, like Julian Sand played better than Bryce Underwood. Bryce Underwood, a $12 million NIL deal or whatever he's worth, however that works out. Yeah, Julian Sand played better than him. But yeah, hopefully Underwood stays with Michigan. I know Doug said that the tight end from where he's at Idaho kind of backed out from Michigan. So yeah, it's unfortunate for the situation that's going on currently.
Yeah, and now I guess that's a good question I should ask. Like, do you think you guys are going to bounce back? Now, it's not a disciplinary issue. This is more like an internal issue right here. Would you think Michigan will bounce back after this scandal?
I think we'll be better than before.
Are we going to head to like a USC Miami situation where it's just like the scandal like ruins their program for a decade?
No.
To me, it depends. It really depends on who you hire. Honestly, so this could go two ways. Lloyd Carr retired in, I want to say, 2005. And they were about to hire, who are they going to hire? They're going to hire like, I forget who it was. Maybe it was Les Miles or something. But anyways, they ended up on Rich Rodriguez. And that set the program. By hiring Rich Rodriguez, it set them back a decade. It was the worst decade in Michigan football history. I feel like we're at the same moment here where the hire you make will determine the future of the program. So it really depends on the hire. And, you know, that's why you got to get it right. Like I said, Kalen DeBoer would probably be a home run. Kenny Dillingham. So it really, you get here as your next head coach and how they can hold the program together during this time. If you miss on the hire, it could be bad. I mean, you could lose Ohio State probably for another 7 or 8 years in a row.
Oh God, that would be
7 years in the Big Ten. I mean, Michigan State has a new coach, Matt Campbell at Penn State. I mean, the Big Ten is stacked now with players and coaches, so it's critical to get the hiring right.
It's going to be an interesting for next year on how like the Big Ten is going to be. It's going to be very interesting because, like I said, assuming how Ohio State goes in the playoffs and all that stuff, or Indiana, mind you, you know, you're going to Indiana's going to be. Yeah, you got Indiana is going to be stacked. Ohio State is stacked with a bunch of like weapons for next year. Like I feel like both of them could be strong. I definitely feel like it's going to be an interesting question mark. I will see how Michigan can, out of this hump in the ashes, can they just recover a little bit, or it goes into the Miami or USC. But granted, those were different circumstances where it was like the NCAA put the stamp on it and basically ruined their chances. I mean, look at USC with the whole. They took their national championship away. They got rid of Reggie Bush's Heisman, and they were never relevant until this millennium. Until
here's the other piece, though. In today's NIL world, Michigan has as much money as anybody, so it's like we're not going to see 10 years of mediocrity. Like there's enough people where they will put a good product on the field and get the players. Just can we actually coach and develop them is going to be more like that's where the coach comes in my mind, where it's like if you get a guy that, Kenny Dillingham that took a team that was 3-9 to the playoff and Big Ten championship, you get a guy that can raise the culture and the actual play on the field, you might have something.
Mm-hmm. It would be interesting.
No, I agree. I mean, like I said, 9-3. Now that I know what was going on, I mean, that was pretty good considering that how bad and undisciplined they look. Yeah, I mean, imagine if they had a competent coach. I mean, they could be dangerous with the talent they have. So, but what a bizarre story. What a bizarre story.
What a bizarre story. This is probably the craziest story indeed. Probably that was not on my 2025 bingo card for sports.
Well, when it first released, I assumed that we just did it because
of national sports talk. Oh my goodness. But anyway, we're done with the Sherrone Moore situation, and now we're going to talk about the conference championship recap, where we were pretty much right for the most part, except for Ohio State, Indiana. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm a little bit sad. But we'll probably talk about the other two. We'll do the quickies on the first two right over here. We got Tulane beating up on North Texas 34-21. Not really a close game, but pretty much Tulane pretty much dominated. And getting their ticket to the college football playoffs right there. So, gentlemen, did you have any thoughts on that game right over there?
Well, before we move forward, I just want to say that there's way more conference championships than what we're going to cover. So we don't want to, downtrodden or downplay. Was it Miami of Ohio, Western Michigan? Obviously, they weren't going to make the CFP.
Yeah.
But the North Texas Tulane game. Yeah, for this to be a CFP appearance clincher, it was a heck of a game. Tulane came out on top. I watched a little bit of it, nothing too crazy. I think this game was played on like a Friday night, I do believe. So
yeah, Friday at 8 o'clock game.
Instead of going to a bar, I was like, I'll just watch the game at home,
Yeah, I mean, hey, good for you, Tulane, and I guess we'll do our eulogy for North Texas. Granted, you got close. You could have made the CFP, but
I don't know enough about North Texas to give them a eulogy, so I guess it's an RIP on their tombstone. So bye North Texas.
RIP.
Unless any of you other gentlemen really cover the North Texas, I believe it's the green, the fighting green versus the green wave. I do believe it was something of that caliber. Let's see what North Texas.
They tsunami North Texas right there, I should say.
It's the mean green of North Texas versus the green wave of Tulane. There we go.
Yes. So yeah, good for you, North Texas. You came close, but you didn't hit that cigar. So that was at least quickie right over here on that one. And then we got to have Troy versus James Madison. Pretty much was a clunger. Basically beat him 31-14. No one was surprised about this game right over here, gentlemen.
Congratulations, JMU winning that. Easily beat Troy. The only reason they're in the CFP is because Duke beat Virginia in the ACC championship.
Oh yeah, we gotta talk about that. It's like the absolute clown show. That was gonna be my clown show this week. I was gonna make fun of ACC. We're gonna talk about this, but Sherrone Moore said, "Hold my drink. I will show you a clown show right now."
Hey, Stu, you're really ripping down the Michigan. Jeez, I thought we were done with
it. I thought we said we're done with it, Stu.
Yeah.
What the heck?
I know, but damn it.
Yeah, come on, man.
Unbelievable. So where's the sportsmanship, man?
Yeah, obviously, I'm an Ohio State fan, but come on, we're not going to rip on the U of M.
I mean, can we at least rip on Sherrone Moore? That's okay.
We've done it for about 15 minutes straight, Stu. I think he knows.
Okay. All right. Now, okay. We'll skip on ripping on Sherrone Moore. Now it's time to rip on the ACC when we talk about this week. But yeah, James Madison finally clutches in. First time, I believe they won the Sun Belt, if I remember correctly.
Well, so what? They just joined the Sun Belt. I believe it was this year or last year. Correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen.
Yeah, I think it was this year or last year. It's kind of crazy. We'll get started when we talk about when we get to the playoffs. But James Madison literally became a BCS school, literally less than 3 years ago. They were a BCS school.
Because then they won the FBS or FC.
Yeah, they won the FBS,
They would have won the
2000
FBS.
Yeah, in 2020.
Yeah, they won multiple FBSs. Or
they
FBs.
were a powerhouse.
It's so confusing. Is it's like their Division 2.
FBS is Division 2. FBS is Division 1.
Okay, FCS. Sorry, SCS. They were on multiple SCS competitions, and then they moved them up to the FBS. So, good for them. Hey, I can't get mad at James Madison for making it this far.
So who did they steal the spot from then? And maybe that's a different conversation. Oh, probably Notre Dame. Notre Dame's got to hate. I guess they got to hate Duke, but anyway.
Yeah, you got to hate Duke, but it's like I'm trying to think so if James Madison would have lost this game, then we're in just super chaos at that point.
Well, I mean, then it might have been Duke that goes. I mean, it's the next highest rated champion. So then they made him a Duke in. They maybe could have put a random I don't even know the conference anymore, like a WAC school or a MAC school or who knows.
Who knows in that one at that point? That's just we're just throwing.
It was the top 5 ranked, the top 5 conference champions, because you don't it's the top 5. You have the American, which was James Madison. No, that's the Sun Belt. The American, which was who we were just talking. We were talking about Tulane, and then you have the Big 10, SEC, Big 12, ACC. So you're more than likely not going to have a MAC champion going to the CFP in the upcoming years because they're just not a top 5 conference.
Maybe if you have a random MAC school that just goes undefeated. To be fair, if it's like a random MAC school that goes.
Well, yeah, that's where it comes with James Madison being 12-1, and I mean Duke won the ACC at 7 or 8-5, whatever it was. So they were not even ranked. So that's where the chaos comes in. Is technically they took an ACC championship spot.
But it's the fault of the ACC for this disaster. Just say.
Yeah, I mean they didn't steal a spot because they had to earn it by winning a conference championship still. But
I mean, I was like, did I put a hex on this one, Jeff? I was like, I want the chaos.
Yeah.
And oh boy, we brought the chaos in this week. I was the Elmo of I want destruction and sadness right now in the college football playoffs, and I was like, the college football gods were like, "Oh, you want that? I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you really good."
I mean, I stopped listening after the first 30 minutes. Obviously Duke giving the smack around to Virginia. It's not really a smack around. They won by 7 points, and it was overtime. So Virginia could have pulled off that victory. But yeah, it was great to see Duke beat Virginia, give JMU the clincher there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. I just booted myself out. Yes, you see here, this is why we are not professional podcasters. We are maybe casual podcasters right here. But anyway, on to the next one where we got to talk about the next team. And I guess we could talk about we'll talk about Duke, Virginia. I know both of these teams did not make it in there. But I figured we got to talk about the tire fire right here, the disaster of the clown show of the year, probably the biggest clown show of the division right now. Duke beat Virginia 27-20. Virginia, get out. That's what I got to say. How do you lose to a team that you beat by 17 points in the regular season? Less than a month ago, mind you. And you laid this egg?
I mean, I just hope the ACC, and based on looking at the teams that are still in the ACC or have always been in the ACC, I don't think the ACC is going to be much of a conference. I'd say, I don't know about putting my life savings on it, but I don't think the ACC is going to be around much longer. I mean, you have Clemson, you have teams like California, but Clemson wasn't relevant this year, and then you have Duke and Virginia playing for the title. So I think that I'm not saying the ACC is going to collapse, but I think there's other conferences that have much more worthy teams willing to play and fight for a CFP spot.
Well, the ACC should have a good Clemson and Florida State and some of these other teams. I don't think we've ever seen a Duke versus Virginia ACC championship. That's wild to begin with.
Yeah, plus the Virginia Tech Hokies, they're usually a good team, but they kind of floundered out this season. So
yeah, no, they got James. They just hired James Franklin, so they'll be more fun. But these are two basketball schools playing for a football title.
Yeah, I was about to say, if this is a basketball game, it'd be a hell of a matchup, but unfortunately, it's in football. So
yeah, and also I do not like how the ACC ranked it. I like what the Big Ten does it, where it's like, okay, who has the two best rankings? You put them in for the Big Ten championship. I hated what they used to do when it was like the West and the East. Remember, Douglas, when they did that? And it's just like, all right, it's going to be Ohio State or Michigan playing against Purdue, Wisconsin.
Yeah, I mean, it still felt like that,
Great
though, because
games.
every year the winner of Michigan, Ohio State goes just about every year anyway. So it's like, it's still been the same thing, even though they changed it. But I do know what you're saying. Same problem, different
this
font.
one was interesting. Yeah, this would have been interesting. I mean, I guess it would be Ohio State if it was last year, but it's like, that's not fun. That wouldn't be fun. Like Ohio versus State versus Iowa, 7-5 Iowa. Do you want to see that? No one wants to see that. No. It would probably been 40-0. They probably would have put in the backups in, and it would have been an ass whooping. But ACC decided to put the clown show right over here, where there's only going to be one ACC, and it's Miami because Virginia can't win a football game against Duke. You deserve all the failures right now. That is my eulogy on Virginia. You deserve nothing but sadness. You deserve nothing but failure. How do you lose to a Duke team that you beat 17 points on 3 weeks ago?
See, here's my question, Stu. They're 10-3 and lost their conference championship game. Why aren't they in just like Alabama? I thought that's how this worked. You can lose in terrible fashion to a team that you beat earlier in the year, and you still make it. I thought. Is this not the case, or is it just a Bama rule? That's just a Bama rule. I get it.
It's just a Bama
rule.
My
apologies.
Bama.
My apologies. We'll get to that one.
Oh yeah, the low key for random tangent. So I'm trying to get into the QA field, and one of my recruiters actually went to Bama. It's actually trying to get me a job.
Nice.
It's like, you're gonna hate this part. Anyway, so long, Virginia. You fortunately failed on that one, and now we got our next one right over here. We got to talk about one of the other games. We got to talk about my personal one. We got to talk about Georgia versus Alabama, where it basically was a blowout. Georgia beat Alabama 28-7. I know Alabama beat them early in the season, and it's not how you start the season. It's how you finish that season. And it looks like Georgia was the better team. And Douglas, aren't you happy that Bama gets to make it to the next round?
I mean, I truly think that Notre Dame should have made it over them personally. I know we disagreed about this in the text. It's like, I get not being punished for losing a conference championship game, but that's if you're competitive to me. Like, you had -3 rushing yards. You got manhandled. You're 10-3. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I thought Notre Dame was the better team all season personally. And so, like, I don't really get the logic of having them in over Notre Dame. Granted, you can make cases the other way too, but like if this was like a 28-21 game, sure, leave them in. But like you fell flat. Like you fell absolutely flat.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ty Simpson, he had a bad game. I don't know what his stats are, but I think he threw a couple picks and he just did not look good. Alabama, they are good when he's playing well. They have a good passing game, but when he's not, you saw what you saw on Saturday night or Saturday afternoon. They did not look good. And on the reverse course, Georgia actually is hitting their stride. They're a dangerous team. They're like they could win the national title. They're playing well. They were kind of sketchy. They had some close games throughout the year. They lost the game obviously, but Kirby Smart always gets his teams to play well. It seems at the end of the year, and this year's no different. But it was definitely a little bit of a butt whooping here. I thought Alabama would show up more, but they didn't. So
yeah,
but interestingly enough,
Ty Simpson 19 of 39, so less than 50%. One interception, one touchdown. Yeah, I didn't think Gunnar Stockton was gonna. I thought Ty Simpson was gonna play a lot better than Stockton did, but yeah, Stockton really showed up. And one of my preseason picks was Georgia winning the national championship. Even though I'm a Buckeyes fan, but Yeah, Stockton, 3 touchdowns. Georgia looked impressive all around, and I know that Stuart asked last week on the podcast if this Ohio State team is looking better than last year's Ohio State team. Yeah, sure they might be, but I hate to go against my own team, especially since I went to Ohio State. But this Georgia team is looking pretty dominant right now.
I honestly do think this Georgia team looks good. Now, I should ask this. This is an interesting question, Douglas. So, if let's just say teams do get punished, let's just say if Alabama did not make it. Let's just say theoretically you put Notre Dame in. And I was listening to my podcast with Squintard and Red. It was interesting. They talked about this. Actually, Red was actually more Douglas, and Squintard was more like Notre Dame had a tough schedule, which I kind of agree. They have a little bit of a soft ass schedule.
Well, but I mean, yeah, they lost 2 games by 4 total points. I don't know. I hate Notre Dame too. Like, I'm not trying to defend Notre Dame. Like, with all due, I dislike Alabama and Notre Dame pretty equally. So I'm not rooting for either in this situation.
Yeah. Now, I should ask. Now, would there be a fear of like, conference championships cost you? Let's just say the teams that we're theoretically in, and okay, you play really badly and Alabama gets bounced out. Would you have a fear of basically people like saying, hey, I'm not going to do the conference championship. It's going to cost me the FCS playoffs. I'll bail on
here's
that.
the thing, because on the Joel Klatt show, I saw him take an opinion where all conferences should just get rid of the conference championship because of this. Because, there's not a ton of incentive for it right now. So that's one piece of it. But I also think it shouldn't just be an automatic you're in no matter what. Like, it should still be, you still have to put up a product on the field that's worthy of playoff contention. It's part of your resume still. Why is it just, it's like only a win situation? Like, it should be, if it's a resume builder, it should also be something that's considered when you're looking at the resume at the end of the year. And if you put Notre Dame and Alabama head by head to me, and granted, Alabama may beat better teams, but Notre Dame was dominant and they lost 2 really close games by 4 points, and they've won 10 straight, and they've looked like arguably the best team in the country. Like, if you put Notre Dame against any team in the field, they would be really close or probably favored against everybody except maybe Indiana or Ohio State. So it's like they're probably the 3rd best team in terms of like actual team. They have maybe the best player in the country. I think they would beat Alabama convincingly on a neutral field. But it's just because Alabama, like, is Alabama, they get in. Like, I don't like it. I don't like it.
It's the damn rules, No, it is interesting because I actually watched a YouTube series. Interestingly enough, it was actually because I'm a political junkie, and he did a random thing about the history of the SEC. And interestingly enough, there was actually 20 years ago, I didn't think about it, but I was like, oh yeah, I totally remember this because it was running by my. They used to be back in the day, like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, there was like a perception in college football fans that the FBC there was a bias against them. Like, we're not going to let these Southern teams. This is a Northern team game. And really what changed was that Ohio State-Florida game when they manhandled Ohio State. Granted, it was not a fun game for me, but it actually changed the narrative of basically having the SEC be like, okay, this is like the weak conference to now the power conference to now we have the narrative flipped on it. Where it's basically like, it's FEC bias.
Well, I think it just depends on where, when you have a team that wins a bunch of national titles, but they also get every opportunity too. Like, Ohio State gets opportunities based on their name. Like, you can look at like the very first playoff, like they probably shouldn't have made it. They won the whole thing. So, whatever, maybe it's the right choice. Not the point here. But like Alabama gets biased. Like, so in 2006, like the 2006 Michigan Ohio State game, 1-2. It easily could have been Ohio State Michigan again for the national title.
Oh yeah, people were saying that at the time. Like they were saying, like Florida should not be in. I don't care if they are undefeated. Sorry.
So exactly. So like you could have easily made the case, but they don't for Michigan Ohio State. But then a couple years later, LSU Alabama, I think it was 1-2. Oh, I only lost that team, but then they still get another shot at the same team that they lost to when like Michigan, Ohio State didn't get the same respect. Like, there's definitely a bias towards them in that regard, where it's like, Bama, give them another shot at it.
I think that was when Hawaii went 12-0 and they didn't let them in.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like, there's definitely bias towards Bama, whatever they want to say on that end.
Yeah, I think that probably was the narrative that changed, was that LSU making it to the national championship was, SEC teams, they only favored them. So I think it was like that was like the narrative that flipped, basically.
Yeah. And I mean, the SEC was great. I mean, obviously, like when Michigan played Alabama, and I think it was maybe like in Brady Hoke's first or second year, and we were all like, okay, we're ready for the big time. And Alabama beat them like by 35 points or something crazy. It's like, okay, we're not ready for the big time. Like, Alabama was an NFL team at that time, basically. Like, they were so much better than everyone else. So, like, I think you should have some bias towards how dominant Nick Saban in that era was. Because that'll never happen again, winning like 7 national titles. Like, that'll never happen again. Like, Nick Saban was
I think I remember where it was like, Alabama literally had, they had Tua, they had Justin Fields on the same team. They had like 3 NFL superstars.
Well, Mac Jones, Jalen Hurts, Tua, all in the same squad.
Like, you would never have an NIL deal. Like, the NIL deal, Tua would probably Jalen Hurts would go on another team.
Yeah, there's too much opportunity cost now, because before you could be a backup because, okay, I'm going to wait my turn until I'm a junior or senior. I'm going to play well, then I'm going to get drafted. That's how you made your money. You sat behind, you went to a good team, you waited your turn, you went to the NFL. Now it's like, I could be making a lot of money. Like, I can't be sitting behind anybody. I could get paid somewhere else. So it's like, you're never going to stack the talent like those SEC teams did for like 2 decades. It's just not going to happen again, not with Nil. So I think the dominance of the SEC is over. It'll definitely be shared now between the Big Ten and SEC, and we'll see about how the other conferences, if they even make it through or whatever.
The one positive of the NIL that I will say is I am a fan of random teams coming up. Like, I love this Indiana story. Like, I think they have the most losses in FBS history, like 715 losses in the program's history. And here they are, like the best team in the country. Like, you would have never seen that in the old era of college football, or you see an SMU, a Texas Tech, and Arizona State making legitimate runs and having a shot at the national title. Like, it's not just, it's Bama, so they can have 3 losses, and we're going to still give them a rematch with LSU because it's Bama.
I mean, look at the SEC in the pro NIL deal. Vanderbilt literally has a winning season. They never had it since 1915.
Exactly. It's great for the sport as a whole and getting everybody kind of competitive. Like, if you put your money where your mouth is, you can have a good squad.
You can have a good – I definitely do agree, and I feel like it helps these, like, middling schools right now. Like, Indiana would never do well. When has Indiana ever been good? Never in my lifetime. It was always –
When did they last on the Big Tens to? 1968, apparently.
Yeah, 1967. Like, every time when we played in regular season against Indiana, Chris, and you probably agree, it was like, okay, that's a guaranteed win for Ohio State every year.
Well, who did Indiana get their head coach from?
JMU, James Madison, I think.
Yeah, and he had a great production at JMU. He moved it to the Big Ten conference, or a school that he could actually make moves in. I know JMU recently moved to the FBS. But the head coach, I forgot his name for Indiana University, but he saw an opportunity, he took it, and now he's leading IU to a 13-0 season. And I think that's because it's him being a great coach, leading all these guys and his team to a great season, a Big Ten championship, number 1 overall seed in the playoff, that there might be more NIL money coming towards Indiana University. So, it's definitely impressive for what he's doing, and coming from a school that was in the FCS, I guess? Yeah. Whatever division 1 is.
It was like a division
going on right now.
But that is pretty much it, what we say for the Alabama-Georgia game. And now we got 2 more games to talk about. We got 1. Okay, we can talk about the next one, gentlemen. Which we got to talk about is BYU Texas Tech.
Do we have to?
I mean, that was pretty much a blowout. I mean, is there anything we can talk about that one? That one was a pretty blowout. Texas Tech was pretty much, you deserve that number 4 spot. I think we got to get some love because, like I said, they're going to get the number 4 spot. They deserved it. They won that game handily. The power Joseph Smith did not let them win this game. Also, fun fact for BYU. So, if you know about the whole BYU controversy where you're not supposed to have quality fun time until after marriage, I'm just going to try to make it as PC as possible. Their BYU quarterback had that. Also, he might have had some essay allegations also on him. So he's actually, funny enough, the Tulane quarterback, and he is going to the college football playoffs.
Is Tulane? What state is Tulane? It's not in Florida.
Louisiana.
Oh, okay, cool. So you can go to Bourbon Street, have a good old time. Yeah, and you brought this up in the last podcast I was listening to. BYU. Premarital arrangements with with a female. Obviously, it's not probably down upon. Good job for him going to Tulane. But yeah, obviously Tulane made it. BYU didn't. So good choice on his part.
He made it.
Have a little more fun in Tulane as well.
Well, I mean, I do think you brought up a good point here, Stu, that I think that Texas Tech needs to be looked at as a real threat here, too. I mean, they lost one game on the season, and that was when their quarterback was hurt. Like, they have close to as good of a defense as Ohio State. It's like not quite at that caliber, but they might be the second or third best defense in the country. Like, they're unbelievable. They put a ton of money into the transfer portal last year. And, they hit. Like, this is a team that in any other era, you wouldn't really see them have a chance. Like, I remember the Michael Crabtree days where they beat Texas and it was epic. And even on those remarkable seasons, they weren't going to get a shot at like a national title. So it's really fun to see that they're getting this chance and that they could legitimately bring home a trophy to Lubbock.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, that would be amazing because, like I said, Texas Tech has never been like a powerhouse in the Texas football programs. Like they've always been like a middling school. They've been like, okay, they've been good. Same thing for the Aggies. It's like, okay, this is like it's good, but it's always Longhorns number one, always.
And Longhorns are maybe the third best too, huh?
And now they're like the third best, and that's the worst part about this. We did ruin the Aggie season, so I'm happy about that.
I mean, they still made the playoffs though, right?
Yeah.
So did you really ruin their season? You keep telling me that Ohio State, that Michigan didn't.
Okay,
did Michigan ruin Ohio State's season last year?
No, not really. We still got a ring. So
okay,
I know all you people were like, "Oh, it's an asterisk ring."
Yeah, so no moral victories then for Texas, dude. Nobody cares. Texas missed the playoff. They're playing Michigan. Nobody cares about Texas. Boo, Texas. Gonna get smoked in the Cheez-It Bowl, Stu.
I guess that's true. I mean, look at last year. The Falcons beat the Eagles, but they still won a Super Bowl. Isn't everyone's going to be like, asterisk gang, you lost to a team that didn't make the playoffs? Oh.
Yeah, but sir, I don't know why we're going back on Ohio State versus Michigan. Like,
sorry, sometimes I just troll.
We keep throwing back around to it, but like Ohio State lost to Michigan. You won the national championship, but you still lost to Michigan. I know that you won. You got the title, you got the rings, you hoist the trophy, but there's still a pain in the chest, pain in the heart when you lose to the biggest rival and the biggest rivalry in all of sports worldwide. I know Real Madrid, Barcelona, that might be a big rivalry, but I strongly believe that Ohio State Michigan is the biggest rivalry in the entire world. And
I mean, it's a really good rivalry. And also, I should ask, gentlemen, since we probably won't talk about them, since we're going to talk about the 12-team playoffs. Texas Tech still gets to be number 4. Does anybody have any objections on Texas Tech? I like them being number 4 right there. Deserve the bye. They did really good.
Yeah. I think they're probably rated at 4. Yeah, they're good. They're good.
Yeah, I mean, if they went undefeated, they're at 2. They lost a game, so 4 right behind Georgia. Perfect.
Yeah. Like this, honestly, has been like, and I hate to say it, Douglas. I think this is one of those seasons where probably we could have had a 16-team playoffs. I
mean, you could say that probably any year, Stu. And I mean, if we redid the conference and we didn't have James Madison and Tulane, which I'm glad they're in. But I mean, I think the average fan would rather see like a Notre Dame in there naturally, but it's still fun that these other teams get a chance. But
I'd rather see Notre Dame versus Oregon. I mean, right now Oregon's is negative 21.5, so they're favored by 21.5 points. This Big 12, congratulations to Texas Tech. This is Big 12. This is another division, like I said, with the ACC. I hope that it goes. I agree with Stu on this part. Expanding it from 12 teams to now 16, because these conferences, they mean something. But like you guys mentioned earlier, does it really matter if they're going to a conference championship? Can they just opt out because their record's so good? Do they want another loss on their record? Like this Big 12, the Big 12 top 2 teams, Texas Tech and BYU. Then you got Utah, Houston. It's like. Is that a conference that you really want a Houston team going, seeing them in the future? Or I mean, I know Baylor. Baylor's always been a good team, but this year they've been
Baylor's
so
Shit.
yeah, Baylor's not been good. Yeah, sir. You know, you're from Texas. Yeah, Baylor's not been good at all football wise this year. They used to be a good powerhouse, but yeah, it's Big 12, ACC. Those conferences might be diminishing, not diminishing, but like might be eventually. I just want to see everyone join the SEC, everyone join the Big 10, or just one big conference and no conferences at all.
Yeah,
it's funny how that's going to happen. Like, yeah, I can't. They should just put it under one umbrella. Then I guess at that point you're under one TV contract. It's just called the NCAA TV contract, and everyone splits the revenue 132 ways or whatever. Or maybe you rank it. You're like, hey, because you bring in more ratings, you're going to get more. But I'm sure maybe that's coming. Maybe it's not. The teams that make more, Michigan, Ohio State, they're not going to be for that. But the teams like the Big 12. But something's got to give because you're right. It's just, I mean, the ACC and the Big 12, they're not long. They're not going to be around that much longer. I don't know what happens, but I don't know. It's just kind of messed up.
Yeah, it's a matter of time, and I like what Jeff said. It's about the money. It's about the TV contracts. You're not going to see a Big 12 team play on CBS. That's a Fox sort of matchup.
Oh yeah, you're never gonna. But anyway, we've got all three conferences down. Now we got to talk about one more, and it pains me, gentlemen.
Best game of the day.
Let's keep. I know we're Ohio State fans, not as much as Doug and Jeff. But let's not be too biased and spend 30 minutes on this game because Ohio State lost.
Okay.
Well, this is where it doesn't matter in this day and age. I mean, they lost and they're number 2 still. Cool. Who cares?
And this game. Oh, all right. Here we go. Let's go.
Yes, I figured we got to go with the kick.
We got to show already. Put another dagger in the
heart. Our kicker had a joystick problem with the kick. It was like when you played NCAA and then the kick just goes like boop, 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 boop. It's like figure it out. And then
Dude, you know what I keep thinking of during this? I keep thinking of last year's Michigan-Ohio State game where he shanked like 3 kicks. I think of the national title that Ohio State probably would have won in 2022 if they could just kick the ball. What a shame. You all should get a good kicker. You probably have like an additional Big Ten championship, a national championship, another win over Michigan. Golly, bro. Yeah. For all the talent you got, figure that out.
There's no way you gentlemen remember this guy because you guys are U of M fans, obviously Ohio State fan. His name is Mike Nugent, one of the greatest kickers in Ohio State history. He ended up playing for he ended up playing for the New York Jets. I'm not sure if he played for any other teams after that, but if we have a kicker like Mike Nugent, like Doug said, we'd have Big Ten championships. We'd have national championships if we could beat Georgia, kicking that field goal as the ball dropped on New Year's Eve. But man, you can't miss a field. You can't miss a field goal 15 yards out.
2 worst kicks in my lifetime. I still remember that. I was at an Ann Arbor bar, and they're all booing me. Well, there's a few people that booed me. And I saw that kick right before midnight. My first memory of 2020 is Ohio State missing that kick, going right. I was like, no.
I mean, they would have for sure beat TCU that year. Like,
would have beat TCU. We would have been. And then, how would you feel about that, Douglas? Like you lost. Michigan would have lost. You beat Ohio State. You lose, and then Ohio State beat TCU.
So I was at that Michigan TCU game, and golly, dude, like we were so confident that we were going to win that one, and like honestly, I still stand by we should have. Like there was some BS calls. Like there was that play where he caught the ball falling into the end zone, and they somehow spotted it at the 1 when he gains possession well inside the end zone. Whatever, won't get into it. Michigan had chances, they blew it. But that would have been a heartbreaker for sure. When we beat you guys and then we lose a heartbreaker to TCU and then watch you guys win the national title. So thank God you guys don't have a kicker because that would have been painful. Thank you, Ryan Day or Urban Meyer, whoever it was that year that forgot to get a good kicker because that was glorious.
You're welcome, Michigan fans. But yeah, this game was about 2 things. 3 things: winning the Big Ten championship, getting the number 1 overall seed. Because even if Indiana would have lost, they probably would have been number 2. Or number 3. And then also the Heisman Trophy winner because Mendoza today, December 11th, was named the AP Player of the Year. And there's been numerous people that have won the AP Player of the Year in recent years have gone on to win the Heisman. So, yeah, that's what this game was about. 3 things: Big Ten championship, number 1 seed overall in the CFP, and the Heisman winner. So congratulations to Indiana University and to Fernando Mendoza, more than likely going to win the Heisman because he has the AP Player of the Year.
So what do you guys think? So I watched this game, but I think every play for the most part. Ohio State's offense, I think, was a little suspect. I thought they'd come out with just more. They'd score more than 10 points. Now, I know that they got stopped at 4th and 1 because Sayin accidentally took a knee. Not accidentally, his knee hit. That was great. And then they obviously missed that kick, but still, I didn't think they had the. I don't know if that would, if you're Ohio State fans, which Stuart you are, if you're worried about that going into the playoffs. I was just.
It was a 50-50 on this game, and I even told you that. Even though I picked Ohio State, I was like 50-50 right there. I was like, Ohio State has a good defense, but Indiana has that clutch gene. They have the under pressure clutch gene to get the touchdown. And I think of that one game against Penn State where they could have lost that game. He got sacked, threw it, and then just touched it 2 toes, touchdown. And I'm like,
yeah. I also think Brian Hartline. I think Brian Hartline, right? He took the South Florida job. He's the offensive coordinator, I believe. So there's no way he was fully committed to a game plan like he would be otherwise. So I think that may have been part of it.
It's crazy what a distraction will do to a team,
Yeah, it's just like Lane Kiffin. He's going from Ole Miss
just like
to LSU. Brian Hartline's going from OSU to USF. But I know the CFP, the Big Ten championship, they're all right in front of you, but you have other things to be worried about. Like Lane Kiffin, he has to worry about recruiting. Brian Hartline, he has to start learning about the playbook and how the offense is run. So maybe Hartline, I know Ohio State, number 2 in the country, CFP standings, but maybe Hartline as our offensive coordinator isn't all there because he has his other job lined up that he has to really be paying attention to here in the near future.
Oh man, it's very possible because for Ole Miss, I think it's a plus for them that Lane Kiffin can't coach because it's like they know what they got. They're going to get closer as a team. Where like Hartline, this was a concerning performance from an outsider's perspective. It's like I get Indiana's great and like their defense is good, but like Jeff said, like 10 points, like weren't in sync. Like you guys have too much talent to be doing this.
And I do believe that Stuart mentioned on last podcast when it was just Jeff and Stu. That's Ohio State gave up 45 points combined after the Michigan game, and now they gave up 13. Now they're at 58.
Now 58.
Yeah, 58, and it doesn't help when you're giving up 13 points, only scoring 10. But hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting in this one. And also, I should say, gentlemen, any thoughts of? Indiana obviously should be number 1. They won the Big Ten championship. Good for Indiana. Are you okay with Ohio State being number 2? I know we got biased Michigan fans, but what do you think?
I got no problem with it. I could have seen Georgia. If they put Georgia at 2, that would have been fine. But I don't have any problem with it because it was a close game between 1 and 2 on a neutral site. But honestly, if I did it, I would have done Georgia 2 because they looked better. They beat Alabama pretty bad. Whereas Ohio State only scored 10 points. Granted, their defense looked good, but I would have flipped. I would have put Georgia 2, Ohio State 3, but I don't have a huge issue with it just because, again, it was 1 versus 2 and it was a close game.
I'm right there with you, Jeff. Like, Ohio State lost. If the scripts or if the score was flipped, Ohio State would have won this game. I bet Indiana would have been 3rd for some reason.
No, I would have put Indiana 2. I would have put him at 2.
And like I said,
there's no way you're not putting SEC champ over Indiana. With all due respect, that's where the name recognition comes in for Ohio State big time. You can't tell me that they're putting a Big Ten runner-up over an SEC champion if the roles were reversed.
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
but I don't know. That's just me. I would have probably been like, you know what? It's a close game. Indiana's been undefeated. You only lost if it theoretically. Like,
but Georgia's an SEC champion that avenged their only loss on the season. It's like.
Yeah,
I would have probably said Indiana 2, Georgia. You're to number 3. But it's like apples and oranges. It's like, oh, I want this team to be in the bye week. No, I think they should be lower, but they get the bye week, so it doesn't really matter. I think in the end of the day, but I think I'm fair. I think Ohio State should be number 2. I'm fine with that. I don't think.
Of course you are, sir. You're not.
Don't say, "Oh wow, the Buckeye fan."
I'm biased. You're telling me I'm not biased?
But sir, you're wearing colors right now like you're a Notre Dame fan. Good green.
Oh yes.
You and Doug.
Oh yes, but we should probably talk about it. So Notre Dame did not make the tournament right now. They're not making the big dance. They decided to opt out. No Pop-Tart Bowl for them against BYU. I guess Douglas, you agree that you feel like it's SEC bias and you want Notre Dame in. I am more, and this is like my opinion. Number one, Notre Dame, please be in a conference. Stop being independent. Stop it.
Well, here's the problem too, and this is the part that annoys me, is starting next year they have a literal contract with the NCAA somehow that if they're in the top 12, they automatically get in. So it's only a one-time issue for them, which is also pretty annoying. So thank God this didn't happen. Well, I guess they should have wished this would have happened next year because they still would have made it. So this was the only year this could have possibly happened to them. So it's kind of funny and ironic in that sense.
It is so ironic, and honestly, this is my frustration of Notre Dame. Of Notre Dame. They have a cupcake schedule. Besides number one and number two, besides Ohio, Miami, and Texas A&M, they had the most softest ass schedule imaginable. And it's like, bro, play better teams.
And what, 10 other teams have opted out of participating in a bowl?
See, but Alabama lost at home to Oklahoma. They lost now to Georgia. Who else did they lose to? Because they lost. I mean, they beat good teams, but it's also the other piece of this puzzle that I think we're leaving out is the committee gets to make the rankings, which means they can say SEC teams are naturally better, be ranked higher, so they have more ranked wins. So it's I don't know. It's kind of hard to also put it in that perspective. Notre Dame didn't play in the SEC. But they still played USC. They still played Miami. They still played Texas A&M. It wasn't literal cupcakes. Alabama probably played an FCS school in week 13 right before they played Auburn. I guarantee they played I don't know, Grambling State or something random. Are we just gonna say, oh yeah, that's fine? They got to beat a cupcake in week 13.
Okay, I'll tell you. Okay, I'm looking at the schedule. I'm looking at who do they play. Okay, so they played Miami. They lost by 3. Lost to Texas A&M by 1. Purdue, Arkansas, Boise State, NC State, USC.
But they'd probably say Arkansas is a good win for Alabama. So
but Arkansas was trash this year. They were garbage. They were garbage. NC State, USC. Okay, USC they did beat by 10, and that was a ranked team. Okay, I'll give you that. Boston College, trash. Navy, not really that great. Pitt, Syracuse, Stanford.
I mean, Pitt was ranked when they played them on the road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're ranked. Pittsburgh was ranked 22.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not overly impressive, but
fair. They were not ranked when they played against them. I believe they were not. I think they were not top 25.
They were 22 when they played them.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I feel you got to have a good win at the end of the year, whether it's fair or not. They just had no you really couldn't evaluate how good they were really at the end of the year because they were playing cupcakes. Whereas the other teams, you could kind of, they played somebody, they could get a good win at the end of the year and bolster their case. For some reason, recency bias definitely seems to be a thing, which is kind of contradictory because they lost their 2 games early in the year, but then they no one really knew how good they really were. But I don't know. At the end of the day, you can't complain anymore. If you got 2 losses, you can't complain. You just can't. I mean, if you've lost twice, you've had 2 opportunities. You kind of have, I guess I would have put them in over Alabama too, because they're probably just better than Alabama. But Alabama, I don't think can win the national title, whereas I think Notre Dame could. Notre Dame really.
I think if Notre Dame would have gotten in, I think they would have lost. I think they would have lost to Oklahoma.
No, they would not have lost. They would have lost somewhere, but probably not to Oklahoma. Alabama will probably go lose to Oklahoma for the second time. But look, Alabama gets a rematch against one of their losses again because that's what Alabama does.
Yeah, but I just don't. I mean, also, funny enough, if you look at the 2026 schedule, Notre Dame has also a soft-ass schedule. Oh, yeah. Again, it's even more softer. It's only one conference. Top 25 team. It's
that's why Notre Dame needs to join a conference. Well, like I mentioned earlier, these conferences – They should be dismantling, and I don't know. I wish I had more time to actually think of a game plan. I wish I was part of the NCAA committee and be like, okay, here's what we need to do. But I'm not the one making millions of dollars.
Let me just ask you guys a question, okay? Because I feel like an argument that's always been pro Bama, but then except for when it isn't, is that Alabama, when there's like a similar resume, they say, how dominant was Alabama at the eye test? It's always the eye test. But it's Bama. They're so good. Look at how dominant they are. So they'll put them in over other teams, right? But this year they struggled. Like they weren't really particularly dominant at any point. But Notre Dame was beating teams by like 30 points a game. Like I think a 28-point margin of victory with a better record. So how come when it's Alabama, the eye test matters, but then when it's like for Alabama, it's like, but they played in the SEC. So it's like double bias towards Alabama, where it's like they would get in just based on like.
Sorry.
Like that's like how I feel about it though. It's like a genuine question because it's like how can they when like they lose to LSU head to head, but then they get a rematch because it's Bama. And because they're so dominant, but then when Notre Dame's dominant and they're not, then it still goes towards Alabama.
I think it comes to answer your question briefly. I think it comes to like strength of schedule. I think Alabama at the 11th.
Yeah, like look at that strength of schedule. Like Notre Dame.
Second. Looking at it real quick. I mean, Alabama, Georgia, Vanderbilt, Missouri, Tennessee in the regular season, and those are all top 15. Well, sorry, besides. Top 16 teams right there because Vanderbilt was ranked 16. Those are all wins. Sure, they lost to Oklahoma, who's 11th. But I mean, Notre Dame.
That's my biggest complaint is Notre Dame has soft schedules, and like, granted, it's funny sometimes when they lose to like Northern Illinois or that one year when it was against Marshall and they paid $1.4 million to lose. That was hilarious. But
I guess here's my other question then. Because are you trying to get the best teams in or the most deserving? Because you can't tell me Alabama's a better team than Notre Dame. So what are you trying to get then? So you want the most deserving teams, not the
best teams, not the most deserving.
If you want the best teams, then why wouldn't you take the team that'd be favored on a neutral field with a better record?
I want the best teams because Alabama could beat top 16, top 20, top 25 teams.
But I mean, would they beat Notre Dame is what I'm asking. If they were to play Notre Dame on a neutral field, who wins that game?
But I should say, back to saying for you.
Well, before you say anything, sir, let's answer Doug's question.
Sorry. We'll answer Douglas' question. And then
let's say if Alabama and Notre Dame were to play in Atlanta, Georgia, well, actually now by Atlanta because that'd be a home game for Alabama. Let's say somewhere out west. That'd be an interesting matchup. But yeah, Jeff, what do you have to say about that? I want to hear your opinion.
I think the mandate of the committee is to find the 12 best teams, not necessarily the most deserving. Whether that's fair or not, that's what they always say is like we're trying to find the best teams. And so I think so I don't really know because if you're trying to find the best, it's probably Notre Dame, but yeah, I don't know. Actually, something we haven't talked about, I think what they did is they went head-to-head. The way it is, they put Miami and Notre Dame, just the way it shook out, they're like, if they're close, we got to put in one or the other. We're going to go whoever won the head-to-head. And so they ended up putting in Notre Dame. So it's kind of hard to argue with that because they won.
And also another good question here, since we're talking about Notre Dame's and Alabama's getting in over one another, would you guys, throw Vanderbilt in there? Vanderbilt, they're not in the CFP, but they're a deserving team. They have 2 losses on the season.
Oh, 100%. I mean, Vanderbilt easily could have had a good case. Notre Dame, there's a lot of 2-loss teams, so it's hard to feel too bad for Notre Dame. But I just think if you're looking at just blind tests of the better team, Notre Dame is the top 12 team for sure.
Now, it's interesting, I should say, because I was thinking we should probably see what the coach of Miami, the Miami Hurricanes say about this, about should it be either Notre Dame or Miami. And I figured I wanted to show you this clip, gentlemen.
And we've won 10 games, just like, we're being compared to Notre Dame in a lot of different forms and fashions, but the totality of our resume got just as strong or stronger than anybody else. And after their first 2 losses, right? Their resume got stronger, but when you break it down, those 10 games, 2 were against group of 5 opponents. And of the other 8 games, 6 of those games were against defenses that were ranked 105 and beyond, right? 105 to 127. So I think when you start looking at the true facts surrounding a resume and how a resume is actually built, I think all those things will be taken into account. And I respectfully will always provide any and all information to whoever it is necessary so we could have a fair and honest judgment and decision on what is the reality that we're the best and most deserving team.
Yeah, I totally forgot that Miami is what, they're 10th?
Yeah, they're 10th.
Yeah, I totally forgot that they're in there. I think there's more teams that are better teams. I don't want to say more deserving, but they're also more deserving because they play tougher teams that are also more deserving than Miami. Miami should not be in the CFP. Notre Dame over Miami, Vanderbilt over Miami.
I like that. That's the part of the logic that I actually like, though. Is I like that they did the head-to-head because they have the same record and one team beat the other. So it's like, I don't know, if they're that close, you take the team that won the head-to-head.
Yeah. I think I'd rather have if it was okay, let's be honest, Douglas. If it was between Miami or Notre Dame.
No, they got it right. They got it right. That part they got right, I thought. Like you gotta have head-to-head still. They played each other. So why should Notre Dame say, oh, we lost that team, but then we get a spot ahead of them? Like, I don't think so.
Yeah. And I guess I should probably ask, how do you feel about Notre Dame opting out of the bowl games? They decided, nope, screw you guys. We decided to rage quit. You didn't put us in the 12-team playoffs. I'm rage quitting right now. I turned off my Xbox.
See, I don't know if I texted you guys or my other group of friends. Doesn't matter. I think since they opted out of any bowl game, they should be banned for obviously this year since they're not participating, also next year for any postseason opportunity. But also, there's been a lot of players, not just this year because it hasn't happened yet, but the previous several years, big stars or big players that have opted out of like, oh, I'm not going to play the bowl game because I don't want to get injured to save my position in the NFL draft or save my health for when I play in the NFL. So like just because a team opts out doesn't mean like if a team does not opt out, their players could easily opt out. So it's kind of like the same thing. It's hard to negotiate what a team could do because the players could easily do the same thing. Like say Notre Dame, if they were going to play, I don't know, like Arkansas State, for example. Like, oh yeah, Notre Dame's in the Citrus Bowl or whatever. But their players could be like, oh yeah, we're not playing. So just because their players could opt out just as their team did. So
I mean, I think it looks like sore losers though too. Like you look like a sore loser.
I have no respect for Notre Dame.
I texted our group that saying, hashtag sorry losers.
Yeah, I have no respect for Notre Dame, no matter what, because it's like, you know what? Yes, it sucks that you didn't get in. That's fine. But you decided no bowl games. I'm done. I'm rage quitting. And it's like it's the same frustration that I feel like every year I feel like with Notre Dame. You just get cupcake schedules. You don't want to play big opponents unless it's one or two games.
Well, and then Michigan, Notre Dame
they were projected to play in a bowl game. They should have accepted it and shown their worth.
Yeah, honestly,
I was making up saying Arkansas State. I don't think Arkansas State is even bowl eligible. I don't even know what this will go on. But like they should have kicked that team's ass whoever they're going to play to show that they're worthy for next year when they come postseason play. Obviously, college football teams aren't like NFL teams. Their teams change every year because people are going to the NFL or they're transferring. But yeah, show your worth as a school.
Yeah,
Notre Dame is Notre Dame. It's Rudy. So
yeah, and plus they would be playing against BYU at the Pop-Tart Bowl. That would have been an interesting game. Be like, okay, we didn't make it. We'll show our worth. And then now I'm just like,
Yeah, Catholics versus Mormons. Heck yeah.
Yeah, wouldn't it be amazing to put Marcus Freeman in like the toaster after he wins? That would have been hilarious.
I mean, yeah, it would have been fun. And I mean, it's a shame when like one of the sport's biggest brands kind of does this and throws a hissy fit. Because like Vanderbilt is still just stoked that they had a great year. And like, granted, like you want to be in the playoff, but it's like have some class, Notre Dame, have some class.
Yeah, I wonder who made the decision there. I can't imagine.
Yeah, I have no respect after this. Honestly, after when to be honest with you, I was like, okay, yeah, the complaint about this when they rage quit and they decided no bowl games. I was like, I have no respect for you. Bama deserves before you guys. No respect for you. You
Yeah,
play
but back
cupcake
in-
schedules, that's it.
I wonder who made that decision. Was it the head coach? Was it the athletic director, or like, I wonder who.
Well, they claim they had a team meeting and it was a mutual decision, is what they said.
So players
How true
and-
that is, who knows? But that's the statement that they released, that it was a team meeting. They made the decision that,
Yeah. And I'm neutral to Notre Dame. I'm not like, oh, I hate Notre Dame, but I'm like, after this season, no respect. And I hope one of these cupcake games you pay $1.5 million to blows up in your face. As always, Notre Dame.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think they're going to be pretty good next year. They got a strong recruiting class. Marcus Freeman's actually a good coach. Unfortunately, they could go undefeated, with that schedule they got next year, they'll probably.
It's even more cupcakey.
They'll be a top 4. They're not going to lose anybody on that schedule. I saw that schedule as well. They got Michigan State back on it, but they're not going to be. It's going to take Fitzgerald a little bit of time. But
it would be hilarious if Michigan State beats Notre Dame. Then I can just laugh at them. But anyway, gentlemen, we talked about the regular season. We talked about the teams that did not make it. We talked about teams that rage quit and did not make it. We got to talk about the 4 teams that made it to the playoffs. Playoffs. Yes, playoffs. So we'll start with the first one. We got James Madison versus Oregon, gentlemen. It's going to be an interesting one. So for the Oregon Duckies, they're going to have redemption this time. They did not make it to the Big Ten championship than last year. Last year, they got manhandled by Ohio State right now.
What?
Yeah, we can do this right now, or because the playoffs don't start till next week, and we can do it next Thursday. But if I had to go real quick, obviously I'm going to pick the Oregon Ducks. They're 21.5-point favorites.
I love that these games are on the college campuses. That's the thing that I'm most excited about. It's fun to see the environments, and it's going to most likely just be a Ducks blowout, but still kind of fun to get to have another game there in Oregon.
And also, you know what? I'll say this: even if James Madison loses, they're probably going to lose this game. Let's be honest; they're probably going to lose this game, and it's not going to be good. Give them credit. This is a new school in a D1 school, and they made it to the FBS. They made it to the college football playoffs. A decade ago, they were playing D2 schools, winning championships.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it's going to be interesting because, like they said, the coach right now in James Madison, next year he's going to go coach for UCLA right now for next year. So it's going to be interesting how that one. And interestingly enough, so James Madison is going to get Billy the Beer, who got fired this year, back to James Madison Dukes.
James Madison seems to be a coaching powerhouse right now.
Yeah, that's been the interesting coaching powerhouse. But, gentlemen, we all think Duke's going to win this one, right?
No, I don't think Duke's playing in this one.
Yeah, Duke or the Dukes.
Sorry, not Duke. Oregon Ducks. Sorry, the Ducks are going to win this one. They're going to finally win the playoff game.
Ducks. That's kind of fun. Yeah. No, pretty. Yeah, this one's a no-brainer. Oregon by a million.
Oregon by a million, indeed, in this one.
And then after that, if they win that one, do they have a rematch with Indiana? Is that how the bracket works? Are they 5?
Yes. No, they'd be playing against Texas Tech.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. 4 versus 5.
Yeah. So this one will be an interesting one. So they could be playing against Texas Tech on this one. And then you're going to talk about your favorite one, Douglas, the team that you love. Bama versus the Sooner Boomers right now.
Low-key, they gave us a fun game. I'll give them that. I've already said my rant on Bama, but I think this will be one of those super fun games. The first game they played was honestly a great game. I think it was 23-21, back and forth game. This one will be in Oklahoma, and hopefully their quarterback, John Mateer, is healthy. Because when he's healthy, the way he played against Michigan, incredible. The way he played against Texas, not so great. So hopefully we get Heisman-worthy John Mateer, and we have a heck of a game here. The odds there show basically a coin flip. So it's about as good of a game as you're going to get in the first round.
I have to say, I think the Sooners are going to win this one.
Yeah, I don't hate that pick at all, Stu.
Yeah, this one's going to be tight. If Mateer is healthy, I think he gives them the edge and the home field advantage. But I could see Ty Simpson having a good game. For me personally, being a Michigan fan, if Alabama loses, it's just increases the chances Kalen DeBoer would maybe take the Michigan job, and that'd be a pretty good hire. So there's talks about it. So I'm rooting for Oklahoma, and I think they win by like a field goal. I think it's real close, entertaining game. Can't imagine it not being a good game. It's gonna be good.
I heard Stewart picked Oklahoma. I know Jeff mentioned earlier that Ty Simpson had a rough game against Georgia. I mentioned that Georgia's like the most complete team in CFP. I think Alabama's going to take this game. Not easily, but I'd say, what's the spread right now?
It's only 1 point favorite. I think it's only 1 point.
Alabama minus 1.5 based on ESPN.com. I would take Alabama minus 6.5. I know with the games in Oklahoma, home field advantage, but yeah, I'd take Alabama.
Like this one's going to be very interesting. I hope this one, and I will say this: I'm hoping that this year's playoffs will be much more fun than last year's playoffs. I'm just saying. I mean, I loved Ohio State winning it all, but a lot of
there weren't many great games. Like there was a few, like the Texas Arizona State one was a classic, but like there weren't a ton of bangers. The Penn State Notre Dame was great. I mean, I like Oklahoma at home. Like they went into Tuscaloosa and won already this year. They've had time to get healthy with a really good quarterback. Like I really like Oklahoma at home.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been, and also I kind of do like that they did do the top four for making who's going to get the buys than like last year when it was just like, oh, who won the conference? Because I think if it was this year, it'd be. I'm trying to think. So it'd be Indiana, Georgia, Texas Tech, and then Tulane.
Yeah, that would have been kind of fun, actually.
Yes.
All right.
That would have been a weird one. And then Ohio State would probably be number 5 playing against James Madison. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like this one. I think I like this version of it there for right now. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm gonna go for the Bamas.
It's gonna be a lot of dark red in the
Sooner Boomers. But I am gonna low key root for the Roll Tide because screw the Sooners. I hope they lose. I hope they lose by 20.
So wait, Jeff, did you pick the Sooners or the Crimson Tide here?
Doug, it's gonna be close, but I think a healthy Mateer and being at home pushes them over the edge. 3. My guess would be.
So Doug and Jeff picked the Sooners. Stuart and I picked Crimson Tide.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Gotcha.
Yes. That one was a pick indeed. And then we got 2 more right over here, gentlemen. We got another banger right over here. Tulane versus Ole Miss without Lane Kiffin.
That's going to be an interesting factor. Just like we talked about Hartline with Ohio State, Kiffin going to LSU. Is Ole Miss still going to be the same product? I mean, Ole Miss is favored by 17.5, so 18 points roughly, give or take. Oh, man, it's in Mississippi. I'm taking Ole Miss, obviously.
Yeah, I'm going to pick Ole Miss. I mean, it's going to be interesting. So maybe
what do you guys think? Like, do you think this Lane Kiffin? Is he coaching this team?
No. He bailed. He said no.
Because we saw him on the plane. Blah blah blah. Getting flicked off. The middle finger salute. I like what Jeff said on last week's podcast. The one finger salute. That I've never heard it say like that. So is Ole Miss really going to be able to win at home with their whoever the interim head coach is?
Like it's going to be interesting.
I think Ole Miss wins. They just got more talent. They spent a lot of money on nil lately. They got a pretty talented roster. I think they got the number 1 offense in the country. So even though Lane Kiffin's there, I think they'll beat Tulane. Now the next round would maybe be a question, and that's where you maybe, at least in my opinion, feel the difference of Kiffin not being there, but at home, too much talent, too good of an offense. Tulane just doesn't have the bodies to stack up man for man out there. I'd say Ole Miss probably by probably close to 17.
Yeah, I think it's probably gonna be 20 or something like that. I mean, I love Tulane. It would be kind of amazing because like the power of the Jewish quarterback right there, Tulane from the former BYU, actually gets to make a postseason, unlike BYU. But yeah, I think probably Ole Miss is gonna win this one. It's probably not gonna be a good game. It's probably gonna be Ole Miss versus Mississippi State, where it's just like a blowout on that one. I don't think it's gonna be a close one. I mean,
you said Ole Miss by 20. You should take that spread though, minus 17.5. Put some money in that thing.
I would probably put the spread on that, but I don't bet money on these. I don't do no sports betting.
Yeah, respect it.
I do zero sports betting right there. There's only been one time this year I done sports betting, and that was only so we can get the direct TV discount, right, Douglas? And I decided, nope, that's my only sports betting.
Yeah, no, that's valid. You did in fact do it that one time.
Michigan. But anyways, Miami versus Texas A&M.
Yes, the final one right over here. We got to talk about Miami versus. This is honestly might be an interesting one right here. A banger right here. You know, two teams that hasn't been. My Aggies never won a national championship since '39. Miami, it's been since 2002 when it was Maurice Clarett from Ohio State beat Miami in overtime. I remember that game. It lasted until 2 a.m. I still remember that game where Ohio State won that game in overtime. I think they went to triple overtime, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and there's some debatable calls on that. Ken Dorsey, quarterback for the U. Obviously, we had Craig Krenzel at the helm for Ohio State. Yeah, that was a unique game, unique finish for sure. But
it's a unique finish, and honestly, that game pretty much ended Miami's run. That they never recovered after that until this year.
But anyways, what do you guys think? You know, Texas A&M or the U. What are you guys thinking here?
Oh man, give me Texas A&M at home for sure. I mean, I think Miami, like we kind of said, like honestly, they could have been left out, but because they won the head-to-head, like I like them being in. But in Aggie land with the 12th man, and like the Aggies are a good team. I mean, their only loss was, to Texas. So I mean, is a solid squad. I mean, 11-1, real nice team too. I mean, they could easily make a run at this thing.
Yeah, I think Texas A&M has been waiting forever to be a part of the CFP. I think this is their first appearance. They're diehards down there in College Station. So being at home, they've been waiting for this their whole lives. Most of these students are 22. The fans that are under 40, they've been waiting their whole lives for Texas A&M to be in a meaningful playoff game. So I think they ride the crowd, they ride the momentum. It'll be a crazy scene. I think Miami is a little soft. All teams from South Florida, I mean, they're always a little soft. The weather, blah, blah, blah. Carson Beck's thinking about the NFL. He's on boats with models and whatever. I think Texas A&M with Elko is just a little bit tougher. Granted, I didn't like how they looked against Texas last time I saw them play, but I think they, Elko has them ready to go, and I think they cover this. I don't know what the spread here is, but I bet they win by
3.5 right now. So
win by 10. I think they win by 10. I'd say they win by 10, like a 31-21 score, but they control the game. That's my opinion.
Yeah, this one's a coin flip, honestly. I could honestly see a scenario. Like any scenario happens in this one. I could see Miami doing well and win this game. I could see Miami losing this game. I can see the Aggies. Like, is this going to be the good Aggies, or is this going to be the Aggies against the Longhorns? If it's against the Aggies against the Longhorns.
I'm going to agree with everyone here. Well, Doug and Jeff. I'm going to agree with them. It's going to be the great Aggies. They're going to knock the boots off the Hurricanes.
I think they win.
It's home field.
It's a close game. I'm going to say I think it's going to be a close. I think it's going to be Aggies win, but it's going to be a close game. I think they win like by 5. I think it's a nail biter.
Take that 3.5 point spread, then, Stu. Come on.
Yeah, I'll take the 3.5 point spread, but I think I'm going to go. I think the Aggies are going to win this one, but it's going to be interesting. Are we going to have an away team win a game?
Last year, no one did.
Not
right?
have any away teams
won last year
in the first round.
It happens again.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to envision. I mean, Alabama probably has the best chance of doing it out of any of the teams, but I mean, I think all the home teams are rightfully favored personally.
Yeah. I think probably all of them. Maybe I could see Alabama and I could see Miami.
I can't see Miami doing it. Alabama, yes. And Jeff, did you say there were no away teams to win last year?
No, nope. I don't think they did.
No, they were all blowouts. If I remember correctly, it was like
it was the first year of the 12-team bracket. So here we go again with the 12-team bracket. So maybe we'll continue the trend of no away teams winning, all home wins.
I think honestly, this 12-team is a lot more stronger than last year's 12-team.
No, I don't think so.
Well, I mean, if you remember, it was like SMU.
Remember, Ohio State was in the first round.
Yeah. let me think. Tennessee.
Yeah, Arizona State was in there because they had Mr.
Oh yeah, they had the bye. Yeah, that was a weird one. They had the bye.
No,
They were-
yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Arizona State was not in the first round. My apologies, gentlemen.
Yeah. They had that weird tie against Texas on that one, where Texas almost blew that game. I am not going to lie, I thought they were going to lose that game.
Well, they had Cam Scattaboo.
Scattaboo. But anyway, gentlemen, that is pretty much it for this week's. Do you have any final thoughts on the previews?
My only final thought is there's too much red in the playoff. You got Georgia, Ohio State, Indiana, Oklahoma, Alabama. I hope Tulane makes it past Ole Miss. Ole Miss has blue, but yeah, I don't like the color arrangement.
I mean, if Ohio State doesn't make it,
it's a weird thought on my perspective. So sorry for that random tangent.
Okay,
there.
hear me out. I would if Ohio State loses, I would low key love Ole Miss to win it all, just so it can be like a fuck you to like Kiffin, the big fuck you.
So yeah, that would be a fun story. I'm also very team Indiana. Like I would love to see them. I would love Texas Tech too. I always played as them when I made like Road to Glory athletes in college football. I'd either go to Michigan or Texas Tech, like for whatever reason. So I'd love to see Texas Tech make a run at it too. Just not Georgia, not Ohio State, not Alabama.
No,
anybody else?
You want
anybody else?
You want Big Tens to win back to back, right? Ohio State.
Yeah, Indiana or Oregon, fine. That's great. Let Dan Lanning get through.
Okay.
That'd be great. No. I don't think you guys are explosive enough, Stu. I don't think you guys are explosive enough.
How dare you?
How could we?
I even said earlier that I think Georgia is a bigger power. Now I'll say powerhouse, but Georgia has more skill than Ohio State. Just because, they just look dominant. But hey, sorry,
it is what it is.
Maybe you should get some of that.
I want to see the first. I think Indiana's undefeated. They could be the first 16-0 national champion. So I'm going to root for that. Let's see. The most improbable season in the history of college football would be Indiana going 16-0, literally going from worst to first in 2 years.
That would be a trivia question for the ages for sure.
Right.
Who would ever think Indiana is the first team to go 16-0?
It's crazy that there's some people that were like freshmen in Indiana. They're like in the worst football program, and then they stayed.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a crazy that's like a crazy bell curve of your whole college career. Like, yeah, this team was total ass, and then it's like we're number one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Indiana. I mean, I don't say unfortunate because, like I said, they have a great squad. They beat the number one team in the nation, Ohio State. But Alabama, Oklahoma, I think those are the tough. That's a tough team. Both those teams are tough. So whoever comes out of that win against Indiana, well, that's a Rose Bowl, so that's in California because the second round is not home field advantage, correct?
Yeah.
Who might Ohio State have to play? Who would be there?
I can check right here. So Ohio State would either play Miami or Texas A&M.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a better matchup.
Yeah, and then Oklahoma, and then Indiana got to play against Alabama or Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, you're not going to play. Yeah, you're going to have tough matchups. You're going to have to win 3 or 4 tough games. Well, not Oregon. You got to win 3 tough games because they get to play Tulane.
And if Texas A&M wins, they're going to the Cotton Bowl, so that's going to be an interesting one. But to be fair, there's Buckeye fans. Buckeye fans, we go travel. We do travel.
That is true. I remember at Washington, that was the craziest. Washington, that's all the way across the country, and they're good fans, but there's a lot of red in the Washington game. I remember that. I'm like, oh, damn. This whole stadium's red.
Yes, we will represent our red indeed. But that is it for this week's college football. So next week, we're going to probably talk about Week 15 NFL stock options as always. And gentlemen, do you still want to do a preview for the college football playoffs, like a longer form right over there before we get to the actual playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, next weekend, the 19th and 20th starts the college football playoffs. So, yeah, I'm excited for it and possibly do it again this upcoming Thursday, which would be December 18th. So, yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like we did a little bit of a addendum on that one, and I feel like this would be interesting to do a longer version. Just talk about all these teams, all of them. So, gentlemen, that is it for this week's College Football Casual Sports Talk podcast. As always, I'm going to catch you later, Mr. Gator. So as always, take care. Bye-bye.